Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it, and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing a true vintage Rolex Oyster Perpetual GMT-Master 1675. Serial number in the low 5 million range. This watch is roughly 1977, and it's weathered the ages quite well with original tritium dial, an evocative plexi, and full lugs that haven't been finished down to toothpicks. A watch that retains most of its original metal and all of its original character. It's unmistakable as a traditional GMT Master with that double-sided Pepsi-style bezel, and charming Jubilee bracelet. We'll talk about the two alternately because the watch and the bracelet are very different matters. The bracelet itself is a Jubilee reference 62510 with 550 end pieces. It is an H stamp, meaning 1983, so the watch and the bracelet from distinctly different time periods, as this is a 77 and this is a newer bracelet made in the early 1980s. The watch is in outstanding condition. 39 millimeters, 39.5 if you measure the edge of the bezel. It's a bit bigger if you include the bezel. The watch is 12.8 millimeters thick, a large amount of which is the traditional and boxed plexiglass style crystal that does add some thickness atop and also some wonderful off-axis plexiglass distortion. Lug to lug, it's a wonderfully wearable watch at 47.3 millimeters, and you'll find that if you want to wear a men's watch on a much smaller wrist, as small as 13 centimeters circumference, this is a great option, not just for men with smaller wrists, but also for ladies who are looking for a masculine unisex reference that's not going to overwhelm with physical bulk. This is a great piece to own. Now, the Jubilee is fitted has been through the wars. I'm not going to lie. It has traditional Rolex Rattle. It has a little bit of stretch. It has a lot of flexibility and play in it. So it has structural integrity, but it's not nearly as crisp as the watch itself, which is in superb condition. You can see it's a traditional Jubilee, so hollow links, hollow end links. It has Rolex Rattle. If you love that stately gait, cadence, and chime-like dance on the wrist, that's exactly what you're going to get, as this one sort of gallops as you undulate it across the wrist. It has a lot of play, and I'm not going to lie about that. That said, the clasp is quite crisp, and the case is wonderfully full. You can see the case in good condition. I would say it's about a 7 out of 10. It has most of its original lug metal, and you will note that there's no protrusion of spring bars out of the apertures. You can even see on the crown side, there's a little bit of a remnant of the original factory bevel on the lugs, so that's a good sign. The crown guards are full. They have all of their original metal. The bezel is in superb condition, and full disclosure, this is a Rolex factory service replacement bezel insert. That's fairly obvious. What's also obvious is that its original tritium matte dial is present and correct. This one's dead as a doornail, hands and dial both. So all original. If you're wondering where the value is in a vintage Rolex, how intact is the case, and does it have its original dial? Yes and yes. Now, it is a bidirectional rotating GMT bezel, and this is a GMT Master 1, which is to say the watch has one time zone and a 24-hour hand that moves at half the time of the local. You could see right now we are approaching 4 in the afternoon because the 24-hour hand is approaching 1600. So the two are coordinated, and you use the bezel bidirectionally to dial in the GMT offset, assuming you've set the watch to Greenwich Mean Time, of your port or airport of destination. That's how the system was originally designed for Pan Am pilots, the original customer for the GMT Master 6542 in 1954, and that's how this watch continues to function. You will note, if we can get as close as possible, that that dial is wonderfully intact with a gorgeous ecru fade, absolutely no crumbling, no oxidation or tarnish, everything intact, and the printing on the dial still crisp with a high contrast. Turn it all over, well, there's not much to see underneath the screwed-in caseback other than to verify the end links, of which I told you earlier. Underneath the caseback, though, 26 joules, automatic winding, 45-hour power reserve, 19,800 vibration per hour, free-sprung with an overcoil hairspring, and COSC chronometer certified with hacking seconds. It is Rolex caliber 1575. It has all the toys. It doesn't have a full balance bridge, it doesn't have a fast barrel, and it doesn't have a modern beat rate, but at this point, the user experience is is going to be substantially contemporary, as you are able to stop the seconds hand and synchronize the watch, and it does have the ability, even all these years later, to be regulated to COSC timing standards, so the underlying quality and integrity of the caliber still present and correct, with bidirectional winding and Teflon reversing wheels and a jeweled staff system for the rotor that make this a silky smooth and silent rattle-free winding system. So what do I say? Well, I would say buy the bracelet to have as an accessory for those times you want to wear the watch on full metal. It does have a little bit of a slinky chain quality to it. I would probably throw this watch on a color-coordinated NATO. It feels a natural match for a vintage watch of this color and character. GMT Master 1675 1977. See it and make it yours on the watch box.